Damit herzlich willkommen zu einem weiteren Stream von Vampyr. Ja, ich habe jetzt das Spiel wieder gestartet und mir ist gerade wieder eingefallen, wie sollen wir eigentlich nochmal daran vorbeikommen? Denn mir ist eingefallen, dass da hinten so ein hässliches Gitter ist und ich immer noch keine Ahnung habe, wie genau ich da jetzt durchkomme. War das Express oder Airpressen? Warte mal. Gib dich nach White. Irgendwas. Ich guck mal kurz. Auch gleich vorgeschlagen. So müssen wir schon mal gut, wenn wir hier hingehen. Gesund. Bei den anderen Bezirken, glaube ich, sieht's nicht so gut aus, ne? Da war er hier? Unbekannt. Kennen wir noch gar nicht.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed of the Pembroke Hospital. May I be of assistance?
Dr. Reed. So it's you who saved my friend Oswald. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you are?
Newton Blight. Oswald and I recently returned from the war.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we were in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
So, Details. Das ist einfach nur Nummer zu groß für mich.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
Persönliche Fragen.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
It started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. Couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Okay.
How do you feel about Oswald Thatcher? You are more than friends, aren't you?
Ach, Thatcher, ich glaube, ich habe ihn
I
umgebracht.
love him. I love Oswald. We knew we wouldn't survive the war without each other. But I am terrified, Doctor.
What frightens you so much?
What if people find out? Oswald says I'm ashamed, but it ain't that. It's more, well, you know, never thought I'd love a man.
Okay, jetzt sich in den Mann verliebt. Hab ich das richtig gelesen?
I won't say a word, Mr. Blight. Your secret is safe with me.
I fought for my country and I survived. I saw my comrades die. And now society tells me I'm a criminal for who I love. It makes me so angry.
Okay, ich habe mich nicht verlesen.
You and Oswald were buried alive during the war. Tell me about it.
Yeah. It was last summer. A shell hit our trench and we were buried for a week.
How did you survive for a week?
Luckily for us, there were rations and water in the tunnel. It was an outpost, see. Since then, Oswald's not keen on being inside for too long.
Oswald seemed far more traumatized than you by the event.
It wasn't the first time it happened to me.
Das Herzchen, das war doch der es nicht mag in engen Räumen. Stimmt, deswegen wahrscheinlich, weil er begraben war.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight.
Ich erinnere mich.
Take care of yourself.
Und ich glaube, Thatcher habe ich glaube ich auch zerfetzt, weil er so unfreundlich zu mir war. Ja, hier. Thatcher. Den hat's erwischt. Tja. Er hier wohl traurig sein. Oh, oh, oh. Wer war überhaupt? Ist gar nicht bei. Okay, versuche erstmal den nächstes erstmal keine Leute mehr umzubringen. Und ja. Wo ist er lang gerannt? Ich weiß, dass da ein Gitter ist. Deswegen versuche ich jetzt einfach den Weg unten lang zu rennen. Ja, mir bin ich richtig. Aber warte mal kurz, ich muss kurz was trinken. Das ist gerade übelst schlecht, ich weiß nicht warum. Geht wieder. So. Gehen wir mal wieder zurück in meinen Livestream.
It's locked, all right.
Ich muss ja irgendeine Fähigkeit haben, mit der ich Schlösser knacken kann, oder? Mal. Das geht ja mal schneller fertig, als ich gedacht habe. Okay, gegen die komme ich besser an, als ich gedacht hätte. Stabil. Ah, hier war ich ja noch gar nicht, ne? Ist ja auch wieder so eine Speere. Ach so, ich bin komplett blöde. Hier war ich auch das letzte Mal. Schnell wegteleportiert. Ich bin ein Idiot. Ich bin ein Idiot. Jetzt hier rein. Was soll denn da drin auch sein, Alter? Da ist nicht ein Typ drin. Nicht einen Weg weg. Sehe ich das Krankenhaus? Ah, ne, jetzt beginnt das hier. Den Bereich kann ich immer nur so joggen. Katastrophal. Katastrophal. ich wahrscheinlich hier entlang, ne? Ja, das wird wahrscheinlich letztes Mal der Grund gewesen sein, warum ich da nicht lang kam. Was? Denklich. So, dann war hier wahrscheinlich die Bahn-Ding-Gebiet, oder? Es lädt. Natürlich, was denn auch sonst? Da unsichtbar. Mein Ex und wundere mich immer, warum nichts passiert, aber ich vergesse manchmal, dass das. Ah, das Speer. Ah, stimmt ja. Das wusste ich, glaube ich, schon. Ich krieg keinen Schaden, wenn ich ihn aussauge. Hat er nicht zwei? Achso, weil ich einen will, dann wahrscheinlich. Oh. Irgendwie wollte ich aber nicht hin. Das ist auch so ein Raum, wo ich hin kann. Boah, stellen wir alles mal her. Notfalls wirklich irgendwie was geben kann. Habe ich schon, naja, 700. Die Kralle wollte ich doch haben, oder? Ah, schade, richtig. Rot bestätigen. Ich warte jetzt aber durch wieder bis 1000 oder 2000, weil ich glaube, ich wollte mir eine Ulti holen. Ja. Was? Irgendwer sieht mich oder was hat er gesagt? Ich wollte gerade die ganze Zeit normal reden. Jetzt wo ich wieder rede alleine hier, fühle ich mich wieder die größte Spacko. So. War ich hier nicht schon? Ich lasse sie mal da alleine. Geh mal hier meine Wege. Hab ich beide geschafft? Ach. Der Kampf ging auch noch. Solange nicht 13er kommen, denke ich mal, schafft das auch. Aber ich glaube, das war auch eine bestimmte Art von Gegner. Der kam irgendwie so krass rüber. Ups. Er hat auch wieder eine Pumpgun. Ich weiß nicht, ob alles, weil das was steht da über ihm? Roger, die Mauer. Ja, das ist irgendein spezieller. Eine Art Minibus. Noch irgendwer an und sagen, was happened. Weil der hier nicht kann, dass die ganze Zeit Leute kämpfen. Fuck, wieder der Blut schon in mir ab. Das kann auch irgendwo angehen. Ja, da kann ich jetzt bestimmt nicht hoch.
It's locked.
Hallo? Sagen wollte ich ein Kind? Ah gut, da ist auch Quarantäne.
It's locked, all right.
Ich wurde einfach verarscht. Oh, ich soll ja auch hier hin. Mann, oh Mann, oh Mann. Ach, deswegen war ja auch die Mauer. Endlich mal ein Tor, was nicht unlocked ist.
Whitechapel.
Nee.
This neighborhood is linked
Locked.
somehow to the
Unlocked
Kanonenwilli
wär's
Osprey's
offen.
blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fella.
First things first. Schrotpatronen. Braucht ihr mal Schrotflinte?
Fuck you all! Fuck it all! Stop it now, Albert! Stop it!
Da oben würde ich gerne einen auf die Mütze geben. Sie eher anscheinend ein Bad Guy.
Me? I'll not die in
What?
some
Shooting a
piss
boy
street
in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your
Okay, er war
guns
doch der Böse. Ich dachte, er wäre es nicht, aber er ist doch.
Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
Okay.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Wir sind anscheinend nicht so motiviert hier. Das hatte ich gerade, naja.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
Okay, dann fragen wir das mal hier.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy just faked me last nerve.
Okay. Den könnten wir sogar schaffen.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Das Gebiet ist schon kritisch. Da bringen wir lieber nicht noch
Are
irgendwie
you
was
alright?
ab, ne?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Sehr freundlich. Mein Name ist Albert und jetzt verschwinden Sie. Fresh.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything. It ain't me.
Ach so, er ist der Junge von ihm. Ach so, wahrscheinlich nicht sein Junge, sondern einfach ein Junge. Okay, das macht Sinn.
All right. Perhaps the poor drunk just confused you with someone else.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
Der Junge ist echt unfreundlich. Vielleicht so später mal aus.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
Wahrscheinlich erwischt nämlich erstmal einen komischen Typ mit der Knarre, weil der einfach jeden random versucht abzuballern.
She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
Goodbye, young man.
I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets. Not me.
Den kenne ich ja schon. Migräne hat er. Achso, das sind die Krankheiten, die man... Ah, warte mal. Ah, wir können Medizin anbieten.
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not,
Das ist es
Mr. Reed.
bestimmt.
You don't seem well, Benjamin. Do you need any help?
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
Ich hab nichts gegen die Migräne.
I will see you later. A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper
Ja,
make
Army
a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Das ist die alte hier.
Good evening, miss.
Das ist schon
Good
wieder so eine
evening,
alte
sir.
Schachtel.
Are you
Oh, nee, doch
interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Okay, der kann ich auf jeden Fall schon mal handeln. Ich frage jetzt mal nach der
Do you
Frau.
know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital?
Vielleicht
I'd
weiß
like
sie
to know
das.
more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Okay. Leben in London.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Okay, wenn ich mir den Namen vielleicht merke, sauge ich den vielleicht irgendwo nochmal aus, aber jetzt gerade nicht. Jetzt suche ich
I'd
gerade
like to see what
Ninas,
kind of medicine
also
you're
ich
selling.
Krankenschwester. Ich wollte irgendwas gegen Migräne. Würde ich das nämlich den Typen geben? Ich glaube, das ist generell hier nichts Richtiges.
Its effectiveness has been proven by many. Even
Ah ja, gib Ruhe. Wer ist das hier?
match for the Swan.
Okay, also wahrscheinlich fahren wir jetzt in diesen Laden nach. Waren wir nicht schon?
What? What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to. I must insist, sir. Please let me see Nurse Crane.
I have no time for you, sir.
Okay, dass jetzt irgendwas anderes passiert. Mal finde Hinweise darauf, dass... Finde Hinweise darauf, was... Okay, er hat es vielleicht gekidnappt. Wer weiß es.
It's locked.
Da ist sie doch. Teleportieren sie auch nicht.
There's nobody here.
Okay. Ich dachte, ich kann den alten Mann vielleicht nochmal damit wieder herlocken. Sollen wir es beobachten, ne? Einen Weg gibt es auch nicht hier. Der klopft da nur wie blöde. Hoch teleportieren. Super hier. Nee, jetzt in einen anderen Bezirk. Bestimmt noch gar nicht hin können, ne?
I cannot enter.
Jo, klar. Gucken bringt's ja auch nicht. Gesagt, bleib zusammen. Das ist eine Nebenquest. Warum ist hier so viel Blut? Oh Gott, ein Bär. Nicht noch eine. Okay, wir wäre anscheinend erfolgreich in die Flucht geschlagen. rum.
Not exactly a treasure chest. A battered box, some knickknacks, and a letter.
Noch einer von denen. Ey, warum war mein Schlag nicht schneller? Jetzt bin ich dran. So, jetzt geht's vielleicht besser. Ach Mann. Ich bin aus dieser scheiß Ansicht rausgegangen. Ich wollte eigentlich gerade flüchten. Aber denn eben nicht. So geht's natürlich auch. Einfach draufgehen. Ich glaube, ich gehe da nicht nochmal hin. Oder gehe ich nochmal hin? Doch, ich gehe da nochmal hin. Obwohl, das weiter. Ich hatte mir mal vor, irgendwann das Spiel nochmal abzuschließen. Ich weiß nicht, wie weit ich da komme. Wenn ich jeden Fritzen auf der Straße anhalte, ihn frage, wer er ist. Und dann jeden kleinen Gegner fertig mache. Ich glaube, letztes Mal in einem Stunden-Stream habe ich bestimmt eine Stunde schon damit verschwendet, einfach nur Leute auszufragen. Schnell weg von den Bären.
It's locked, all right. I will return later.
Mann, ich weiß nicht, was ich für Hinweise finden soll. Jetzt helft mir mal irgendwer. Warum? Was soll ich tun? Hilfe! Ach, was kann ich jetzt machen? Jetzt kann ich zugucken. Geil. Vor Stunde ging ja nicht eine halbe Stunde da.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Och nee, die sind doch beim Werbären. Oder sag mir nicht, dass sie bei Werbären stecken.
Joe, please, I don't have your money. Come on, Barrett, you know. Don't you pay for peace of mind?
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Okay.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
Schade.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Warte mal, wie heißt es? Mesmer. Ich habe mir kurz noch ein YouTube-Video geguckt, wie man das, oder danach gesucht, wie man das erhöht.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane?
Die haben wir doch schon gefunden.
She's a colleague of mine and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Der andere muss jetzt nicht noch ausfragen. Ich weiß nicht mehr, wer Richard
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Was, Vampire Part 109, Alter? Irgendwer 109 Parts von Vampire.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Oh, alles klar. So, mal.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Nice.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic?
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Vielleicht können wir den Jungen noch leiten. Bereich. Das ist so ein Kleiden. Andere Frage, ist es noch im Bereich? Eben nicht. Kleiden. Fangen die Verrückten wieder an. Was mir schon vollkommen aus dem Gebiet raus. Clayton, du bist es doch noch.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Was macht Zeitung, für die sich das gar nicht interessiert. Ja.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Ich kann irgendwie hinter der Kirche finden. Das ist bestimmt dieser Richard. Für den Briefkasten und den Brief. Das soll ich wahrscheinlich hinter der Kirche suchen, ne? Was soll das denn hier? Wo komme ich denn hier hin? Nirgendwo. Unauffällig. Ich feiere das immer, wenn man jetzt hier teleportiert, dass es nirgendwo hingeht. Immer richtig geil, wenn ich meine Zeit verschwinde. Ist hier irgendwo der Briefkasten? Wer ist das hier?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
What of them was?
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
Oh, deswegen sind immer 3 Punkte. Stumpf.
Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary.
Ich red gar nicht.
Stubborn and mute, comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever.
Stumm und stur.
Very well. Goodbye then.
Für die Briefkosten. Ich will bitte ranzoomen. Der muss ja hier irgendwo sein. Oh. Das Tor geht auf, hätte ich nicht gedacht.
It's locked, all right.
Hier soll irgendwo ein Brief... Da ist er doch. Stimmt, die ist so hässlich.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
Na, Richard. Wie komme ich denn zu Richard? Ah, nee, doch nicht. Auf der anderen Seite ist so ein Eingang.
I cannot enter.
Da ist doch Richard, oder nicht? Wahrscheinlich ja schon. Ah, bin ich... Ah, ich bin blöder. Das wurde mir sicherlich mal irgendwann erklärt. Wenn ich Kreis gedrückt halte, kann ich sprinten. Bestimmt schon mal irgendwer erzählt. Das wahrscheinlich einmal vergessen. Ich muss schon sagen, das ist ein bisschen nervig. Den kenne ich schon. Ja, Jackpot. Oh, war nur einer von den Vampyren. Natürlich ist Richard da, wo die ganzen Mobs sind. Monster. Mobs habe ich schon. Zu viel Minecraft gespielt. Richard war doch der da rumstand, oder? Stimmt. Hoppla.
Good evening,
Stein renne ich ja immer die
I'm Dr. Reed.
Grabsteine.
I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the Death of so many innocents is a tragedy, but the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Peaceful? That's quite an unusual way to speak about the epidemic. And very inappropriate, I must say.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious camellia.
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox, the stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
So, jetzt kann man endlich eine wichtige Frage stellen.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
Okay, das war auch schon alles.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
So die stumme Frau bestimmt. Ich würde sagen, ich gehe kurz essen. Abendbrot, ich weiß nicht, wie lange ich weg bin. Ich denke mal 10, 15 Minuten. Bis gleich.
Hey. Tobi? Hallo? Tobi?
So, ich hoffe, ich war nicht zu lange weg. Minuten oder so war ich weg.
Und ich bin auch mal wieder da.
Oh nein! Ach, du sagst mir jetzt auch, dass ich mein Manipulationslevel erhöhe.
Das weiß ich leider selber nicht, mein Lieber.
Mann!
Ich habe auch schon versucht, das herauszufinden.
Ich habe ein Video gesehen, da hat er einfach nur die ganze Zeit Leute aufgefressen.
Echt jetzt?
Ja.
Das geht. Und seine Welt geht's gut?
Weiß nicht, ich hatte es nicht gezeigt. Das
Video
hieß, ne? Ich habe ja Livestream an und dann habe ich nicht geguckt. Und bei ihm hat er einfach nur die ganze Zeit Leute abgeschlachtet.
Go away.
Hat die ganze Zeit Leute abgeschlachtet und dann, ja.
Einfach so?
Nur Leute abgeschlachtet. Er hat es aber nicht gesehen, dass es erhöht wurde. Das Video hieß nur How to upgrade your many.
Das ist klar was. Klar was. Alter, hä? Wenn man Leute umbringt, hilft es doch nicht zum Leveln. Das ist eher dazu da, dass du EP kriegst. Wenn man permanent Leute aussaugt, dann ist das ja schlecht sogar. Du schadest deine Welt damit mehr als irgendwas anderes eigentlich.
Das ist eigentlich, wenn alles auf Null fällt. Wenn er startet.
Dann ist die wahrscheinlich komplett verseucht.
Halb so wild.
Und ich glaube, es kann auch sein, dass die Leute einfach sterben, denn irgendwie zu sehr krank sind, sage ich jetzt mal. Und ich denke, das wird auch passieren.
Ich weiß nicht,
wenn sie einfach zu krank sind, dass sie einfach sterben.
Ich stumm dich jetzt, ich mach noch die Mission zu Ende. Los, operiere.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
Okay.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in this area. Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family?
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Okay. Lass dich schon. Ach hier, ja.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. but I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
But it's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. But I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
Okay, mehr haben wir wahrscheinlich nicht zu besprechen.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Da kannst du noch Spiel schon wieder ab. Hier war sie ja drin, ne? Und hier aussaugen. Das sind bestimmt keine Hauptcharaktere. Wahrscheinlich deswegen kann ich sie wahrscheinlich auch nicht aussaugen. Er hat irgendwas gesagt, die Treppen hoch, ne? Wenn ich mich nicht irre. Ah, hier ist ja auch schon. Wer ist denn er hier? Ja, ich glaube, der sollte liegen. Oder eben nicht. Hüf. Okay. Ich glaube, ich gehe einfach wieder.
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Warte mal, ich komme nochmal neu rein. Anscheinend waren die nicht vorbereitet auf mich. So, noch ein Versuch. So, an der Stelle würde ich sagen, machen wir einfach weiter beim nächsten Part. Und ja. Ich wollte ja eigentlich noch die Links zu Ende machen, die Mission, aber... Jo. Er, sie, es steht jetzt einfach hier im Tisch drinne. Keiner tut irgendwas. Soll ihr irgendwie helfen? Aber die steht einfach am Tisch drinne. Deswegen würde ich jetzt einfach mal sagen, war's für diesen Part. Wir haben so gut wie nichts geschafft in diesem Part. Und ja, ich würde sagen, bis zum nächsten Mal.